Good night, everybody. My name is Karma. I'm not new to YouTube, but this is my first video. And the reason for this video is I'd like to bring a bit of awareness to autoimmune diseases. One of which I have called Lichen Planus is a skin disorder. There are many different autoimmune diseases, lupus, multiple sclerosis, psoriasis, rheumatoid arthritis, but I have the Lichen Planus. It's a skin disorder. So autoimmune, from doing my research on YouTube, autoimmune with Lichen Planus pretty much means that my immune system is fighting against my skin, which has been causing me to get this rash. Now I'm going to bring you back to 1991. I was pregnant with my son. I want to say around 3-4 months, my obstetrician called me in and said that I have to hurry up and to get this injection called RH. Now I'm young, so if the doctor's telling me this is what I got to do, then this is what I got to do. I go get the injection and I asked him, like, what's the big fuss? And he's telling me, oh, because and he was an older doctor, so they're not really into doing too much. Back then it didn't seem like he was into too much small talk. But what he did tell me was, if he told me that because my blood type is negative, that I'm going to need this injection because my immune system, my body won't recognize my pregnancy when it come time to deliver. So I'm young. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta get this injection. So I said, well, what would happen if I didn't get the injection? He said I can end up needing a blood transfusion, or maybe even at the worst, dying. Give me the injection, please. So trusting the doctor, of course, this is how we're raised. This is what we're told. Go to the doctor. Anything wrong, you go to the doctor. So I took the injection, and now can you imagine being told that your body's fighting, doesn't recognize your baby, doesn't recognize your pregnancy? That was just the weirdest thing. But again, I was young, so I don't think I put too much thought into it until years later. Okay, so now I want to say my son, maybe about 8 or 9, I get this rash, which wasn't strange because I have asthma and I have allergies and eczema. So you got asthma, you got allergies, and most likely you're going to get eczema sometime or another. So I was always fighting eczema, which wasn't a problem because I'll just put a cream on it. Anyways, was getting this rash in every area. Like the rash was coming up rapid. Like you go to sleep and wake up, you got a patch. You go to sleep and wake up, you got one here, one there, one there. And the creams that I was using that I already had for eczema weren't working. So I went to my family doctor at the time, and he was sending me to multiple dermatologists who couldn't diagnose what was going on with my skin. So at that time, my rash is getting worse. And what happens is, anywhere you get the rash, could be one, even if it's one spot, or it could come in clusters. Wherever it appears, after a day or two, the area would turn red, and then purple, and then a dark brown. So you can imagine my doctor sending me to all these different dermatologists trying to figure out why and what's going on with my skin. So waiting for dermatologist appointments are like 2 months back then, and I just remember that my rash is getting worse, and all my family doctor could give me were creams. So by the time my doctor sent me to the last dermatologist, who diagnosed me like at the front door, I went to her and she told me, you have Lichen Planus. Now, at that time, I don't recall, I don't believe I asked too many questions, but I do remember that it was one of those doctors where, you know, you go and see her, she tells you what it is, her hand's on the door because she don't have too much time for no chit chat, and she gives you a prescription. So I remember trying to ask her, like, so what is this? She's like, oh, you just have a rash and what have you. And because now I've gone to so many doctors and waiting for all these different appointments, I was covered. I literally looked like I was burnt. Like in the areas where the rash was, I looked like I went through a fire. So she prescribed me prednisone, 40 milligrams, a high dose, which is a steroid. And I started at 40 milligrams, and she explained that I got to taper it down within 6 weeks to 10 milligrams and then finish. All I wanted to know, just give me that pill so I can go home and my skin, this rash can stop and what have you. So I'm covered in the rash. I couldn't wait to get home to fill that prescription. Filled the prescription, I was on the prescription, and in 2 weeks I noticed the action of there were no new spots coming up, and the spots that I had, they actually started getting flat, and then so now I just had the discoloration. So good. So I'm thinking, okay, good, this doctor knows her stuff. So after that, now I got Lichen Planus 3 more times. So now I know what I'm working with. So I would go to her and she would give me the prescription like right away, because she knows what I have and I know what I have, and the creams are not going to work, so just give me the pills, the prednisone. So I've taken the prednisone 4 times, and those 4 times over the years, they've worked within like 2 weeks, stopped the action, and then it was just a matter of waiting for the spots to disappear. Now, mind you, now after the rash is done, and you just got the spots honestly is going to take up to like a year to disappear, which I think is good anyways, based on how much my skin was scarred, right? So I get COVID, sorry. I get Lichen Planus comes up again just before COVID, around COVID time. And I go to my doctor. He sends me to the dermatologist again, the same lady. And she was very dismissive. And I understand COVID was and still is very stressful, scary, and what have you. So when I went to go see her, she was very dismissive, very short, what have you. And she told me that she won't be able to treat me or prescribe me anything until I get fully vaccinated. At which my doctor already advised me that I hold off on a vaccination until we know what's going on. So anyways, I go back to my doctor. Now I'm devastated because I really don't want to go through this again, especially in these times. So he's like, okay, I'll prescribe you the prednisone, because I've been prescribed prednisone before for my asthma at lower doses, so I'm familiar. So he gave me the prednisone, but this is the 5th time. It didn't, after the 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, it looked like it stopped, and then after that, it just came back full force, like it was just coming at me. So in all different directions. Now I get it under my arms, on my breasts, and more spots on my back, my legs, and what have you. So now I'm frustrated. It's depressing. It's scary, and it's COVID. Like, there's so many things going on right now. So I just get frustrated, and he sends me to another doctor. And that doctor explains there's one more drug that he can put me on. So I asked the doctor, because I am a YouTube learner. I on YouTube learned that it's common for people with lichen planus or autoimmune disease that they're deficient in vitamin D3, and their blood type is usually negative. Well, I know my blood type is negative, but I didn't know about the vitamin D3. So he said that I should just start taking vitamin D3. He didn't even tell me like how much to take, how much was good to take at this time. And then he said take the vitamin D3, and then he prescribed me a drug that I found while researching on YouTube, metronidazole. So I take the metronidazole. Sorry about that. The metronidazole seemed like it was working for a minute, and then the rash just started coming back full force again. And this is like in the summertime. Go back to my doctor again, God love him. And I'm explaining to him all the things that I've learned on YouTube. God love YouTube. I don't know what I would do without YouTube. I've learned so much on YouTube. If anything, it's YouTube. So I explained to my doctor about vitamin D3, and he's like, yeah, that'd be a good idea. And he said a lot of people of color are deficient in vitamin D3 anyway. So the dose that I learned on YouTube for vitamin D3, I think was 10,000 IU per week. So then I started taking my own vitamin D3. I think for 5 out of the week, I was taking 10 pills for 5 days. Which I think also could have helped, because everybody needs vitamin D3 anyways. And so I'm taking the metronidazole, and that stopped working. The rash started coming back again. I go back to see that doctor, and I don't know, the whole healthcare system, everybody's stressed. I can't even be mad at the healthcare system. It's been rough with COVID. So now I feel like I'm on a quest on my own, me and YouTube. So I come off of the metronidazole. I go back to my family doctor. Maybe I waited about 2 months later. Now I'm really frustrated. It's almost depressing and scary, because what am I going to look like? What am I going to look like if this rash doesn't stop? Like, I'm going to look like a zebra, or like my shirt. He put me on prednisone again. He didn't want to, because now he's like, I've been on steroids too often in the last little while since COVID. So he gave me again 40 milligrams to taper down to 10. So I took it. And this is not too long ago. Just 2 weeks ago, I weaned myself off of the prednisone, because now I'm just like, my immune system's fighting me. I'm going to have to fight it back. So I have, I've been juicing and researching on YouTube. I come across SEAMOSS. I've been seeing it all the time. SEAMOSS. It became popular again. Everybody knows about SEAMOSS from back in the day, but it became popular again. Back in the day, they used to make it into a drink where they would boil the SEAMOSS. Now it's suggested not to boil it, because it can lower the properties. So I watched a couple of videos on how to make the gel. Run and find the gel. I ran and found the SEAMOSS, the actual SEAMOSS. Bring it home. Get on YouTube. My Vitamix, made the gel. I started mixing the gel 2 tablespoons daily inside my juices. And honestly, the action has stopped completely. So now all I have is the scarring. The rash has totally stopped. So it's saying that SEAMOSS has 92 minerals, and our body's made up of 102. So I figure I must be, with my skin condition or autoimmune disease, I must be deficient I must be missing all kind of things. So And because I've been fighting for so long, it's either SEAMOSS works or it doesn't work. So now I'm pretty happy with my skin. The spots right now, they're even fading, like fading fast. And I don't know, I'm just really, we have to be mindful of what we're putting in our bodies. Yeah, we want to trust the doctors. Doctors have, and with what's going on with COVID, like it's a stressful time. We have to help ourselves. So I'm so glad. I'm so thankful for YouTube. I'm so thankful for YouTube. Like honestly, right now, I don't even watch TV. I watch YouTube. Anything you ask me a question, how do you do this? You better get on YouTube and figure it out. Just like how I had to figure out everything. I refer everybody to YouTube. Anything I want to learn, I've learned off of YouTube. Anything that I'm doing, I pretty much, any questions, anything, it's coming off of YouTube. So I just want to tell everybody, I'm not sending nobody to the store. I'm not sending nobody to Jamaica to go get SEAMOSS. I'm not sending anybody to make the gel. I'm just letting you know my story, and there's always another way. So I hope you found this useful. I'm going to keep using the SEAMOSS. I'm going to keep using the SEAMOSS. What I've also noticed with the SEAMOSS is that I'm not really as hungry as I was because, and the steroids, because this is my first video, you're not going to know what my size or how big or small my face was before. But I gained like 12 to 15 pounds on and off these steroids. So now, I feel like I won with using the SEAMOSS, adding SEAMOSS to my diet. So now I got to fight my weight, get my weight back. I got a double chin, but if it's the weight, I'd rather take the weight than my skin to be fighting me. So again, thank you for stopping by. I hope this video is good for some. I'm going to try and link the a nice young girl who posted so many videos about Lichen Planus. Like she was on a quest. She was on a quest for Lichen Planus. And just like me, she just gave up on the drugs and started doing her own natural stuff. So I'm going to look for her and put her link. I'm going to try and put her link in because I really don't know what I'm doing with YouTube. This is my first time. And so if you guys want to go check her out, do that also. So again, until next time, thank you, YouTube. Bye for now.